This man is about to commit the most atrocious crimes in American history. Linda Githens, age 22. Valerie Hoffman, age 24. Marianne Stevens, age 21. These women have one thing in common. They are all victims of the Toolbox murders.
A handyman with a real bone to pick against the immoral tenants of an LA apartment complex is carving a nightmare with power drills, claw hammers, and screwdrivers. Oh my. The Toolbox Murders is an interesting entry in post-chainsaw but pre-Halloween 70s grindhouse cinema. It's before the term slasher movie had been coined and popularized by films like Halloween and Friday the 13th. But the Toolbox Murders has all the earmarks of the kinds of slasher movies that would precede it, or at least the first act of the film does. Within the first 15 minutes of the Toolbox Murders, we are treated to 3 toolbox-related slayings back to back to back. There's no plot, no storyline, nothing. Just 3 rapid killings by way of power drill, claw hammer, and screwdriver. I remember first seeing the movie way back when and thinking, is this how the entire film is going to be? It's a gonzo slasher flick. And I remember being pretty excited by those possibilities. Then we're introduced to Cameron Mitchell, who plays the owner of the apartment complex. And what an apartment complex it is. It's the kind of place where you can watch your neighbors dance seductively in their underwear in front of an open window, and nobody pays any attention to a rather large man dressed all in black, wearing a ski mask, and hefting around a big toolbox. Then we're treated to one of the all-time great bathtub sequences in horror history. If Psycho made showers scary, then the Toolbox Murders made taking a bath super sexy. That is until the young lady who's doing more than just bathing herself is rudely interrupted by the maniac, brandishing a nail gun. And the entire time all this is going on, we're treated to a sweet little love song called Pretty Lady on the soundtrack. And the song is in such sharp contrast to the sleaziness and brutality that we're seeing on screen that it makes the sleaziness and brutality all the sleazier and more brutal. But just when you're thinking that the Toolbox Murders is going to be one of the greatest grindhouse slashers of all time, the movie shifts gears. The Toolbox Murders transitions from sleazy gonzo slasher into psychological thriller and police procedural. At the center of it all is Cameron Mitchell, who plays a grieving father, the brother of a girl who's been kidnapped by the maniac, and a cop who couldn't pour water out of a boot if you put the instructions on the heel. The only thing that saves the remainder of the Toolbox Murders is Cameron Mitchell. In fact, this movie without Cameron Mitchell would be unbearable after the 30-minute mark. Mitchell's performance, much of which he either wrote himself or improvised on the spot, is quite good. I won't give away the identity of the killer, even though the identity of the killer is revealed around the 30-minute mark, and even then, the killer's identity is pretty obvious because the ski mask doesn't do a very good job of concealing their identity. But then the movie throws another curveball at us when we're introduced to another character in the third act who is even sicker than the killer. And then the movie rather abruptly ends, and we're treated to text on the screen informing us that what we just watched really happened. A claim that I'm a bit skeptical of. The Toolbox Murders isn't going to be for everyone. The first act comes on strong. Really strong. Then it slows down considerably, but fortunately, we have Cameron Mitchell there to keep us entertained. The shoddy police work throughout the film is also amusing. Detectives question neighbors of the victims inside the victims' apartments with the bodies of the victims still sprawled out in front of them. I don't think that's textbook police procedure. The Toolbox Murders is a fun, sleazy proto-slasher with a great performance from Cameron Mitchell. and a surprisingly good musical score by George Deaton. It's not perfect, but I've always found the Toolbox Murders to be highly entertaining. I recommend it. As far as the picture quality and sound quality on this new 4K UHD from Blue Underground, I was blown away. Blue Underground did a spectacular job of restoring this film in 4K. Some may actually say that the transfer is too clean, because part of the Toolbox Murders' charm is how grindhousey it looked. Blue Underground has set the bar pretty high with their 4K releases, and what they've done here for the Toolbox Murders is quite impressive. It should go without saying that this is hands down the best the movie has ever looked. But if you've seen the previous releases of the film, then this release is really a testament to what 4K can do. I'd give the overall picture quality on this release a perfect score, a 5 out of 5. As for audio, we're treated to the Dolby Vision HDR and the Dolby Atmos tracks. I watched the film with the Dolby Atmos track and thought the movie sounded absolutely spectacular. I'd give the audio quality on this release another perfect score, 5 out of 5. This release also comes with a standard Blu-ray, and that Blu-ray is region-free. As far as extras are concerned, first up we have Drill Sergeant, an interview with director Dennis Donnelly. It's 20 minutes and 17 seconds in length. Mr. Donnelly discusses working in television prior to getting the gig directing the Toolbox Murders. He discusses working with Tony Didio and having a great crew. He discusses being blown away by George Deaton's score and how wonderful Cameron Mitchell was. He discusses dealing with the ratings board, the infamous bathtub scene, and more. Next, we have Tools of the Trade, an interview with star Wesley Eure. It's 26 minutes and 47 seconds in length. Mr. Eure discusses having to ask for time off from Days of Our Lives to be in the Toolbox Murders and how much he wanted to play a multidimensional character. He discusses how deeply playing the character of Kent affected him, working with Dennis Donnelly, his favorite moments from the film, how intense Cameron Mitchell was, the film's success, its fandom, and how the movie saved his life, and more. Next, we have Flesh and Blood, an interview with actress Kelly Nichols. It's 31 minutes and 16 seconds in length. Miss Nichols discusses being a model and makeup artist prior to getting cast in Toolbox Murders. She discusses shooting the bathtub scene, working with Cameron Mitchell, and hearing that Stephen King is a fan of the film. She discusses getting into the adult industry following the Toolbox Murders, the fandom for the film, and more. Next, we have Slashback Memories. David Del Valle remembers Cameron Mitchell. It's 24 minutes and 40 seconds in length. Mr. Del Valle discusses Cameron Mitchell's early career, stardom, moving to Italy and working with Mario Bava, Mitchell's career in grindhouse films, and he tells a hilarious story about the only performance Mitchell was ashamed of, and more. Next, we have They Know I Have Been Sad, a video essay by film historians Amanda Reyes and Chris O'Neill. It's 19 minutes and 27 seconds in length. We get the theatrical trailer, a TV spot, 2 radio spots, a poster and still gallery, and 2 audio commentaries, the first with producer Tony Didio, director of photography Gary Garver, and star Pamelyn Ferdin, and the second commentary is with film historians Troy Howarth and Nathaniel Thompson. This is an awesome 4K UHD release for the Toolbox Murders from the fine folks over at Blue Underground. Both the picture quality and the sound quality on the UHD were spectacular, and we get a lot of brand new and informative extras. If you are a fan of the Toolbox Murders, then this release is an absolute must-own. Again, I recommend the film. If you've not seen it, this release would be a great way to introduce yourself to the Toolbox Murders. I'll post a link to Blue Underground's website in the description. Go over and check them out. Let me know your thoughts on the Toolbox Murders down in the comments section below. And if you've already picked up this release from Blue Underground, let me know your thoughts on it while you're down there. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up and share it on social media. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. As always, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace.
Pretty lady,
we will be as one.
pretty lady,
Instead of two.
pretty lady.
Thank you to all my patrons and channel members. I appreciate your generosity and support of my channel. Become a patron today and have a say in what content appears on my channel. Join me for monthly live streams and much more. Become a channel member today and get access to exclusive badges and emotes to use when I stream. Both those links are in the description. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.